Welcome to Money Hangout. Every week we discuss something which is of interest to you and try and answer as many of your mutual fund questions and help you understand mutual funds better. This is brought to you by Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund and Value Research. Today we are going to talk about something very basic, very fundamental, which is how to make your savings grow and what kind of mental framework you should have. This is not about very specific, but help you understand that just saving is not enough. Making your savings grow optimally, mind you, optimally, is very important because today the kind of spending avenues available, the kind of cheap credit, the availability of everything online or tempting stuff all around us, your ability to buy all that stuff with a single click. If it is little beyond your budget, the ready availability of things being available on EMI, uh, and after that, so you are hardly left with any savings. If you have any aspiration, everything can be had right away, even if you don't have the money. But still, I think our basic value system of conservative Indian value system has been that we all are savers. Yes, it could be different, different scale of savings for different people, but we are all still inclined to save. And after saving, we think that we have done our job. We earned, we spent, and after that we are left with something, and that is a good thing. Uh, this is where I want to say that this is not good enough. It really doesn't come to, it really won't help you. Your ability to save is just one part of course it is an important thing. Without that your investment won't start. But after you have saved your money, it is very important that you invest it in a manner so that it starts working. And if your money is working, is not working hard enough, then it is an opportunity loss. And there is a framework which you should follow. One is that any kind of money that you have, whether you run a business, whether you do a job, or whether you are a freelancer, whatever money you make on some cycle, and generally in India we have the monthly cycle because we pay our rent on every month, we pay our telephone bills on a month. So our EMIs are to be payable on a monthly basis. So normally, the natural cycle that we follow here is a month, and I think it's a good enough cycle. Every 4 or 5 weeks, you have to do the budgeting. So tentatively do your whatever you earn and whatever you have been able to accumulate out of your earnings. Generally, any money that you make can be broadly divided into four things: money that you are likely to spend, money that you will spend, and then you are likely to spend. The likely to spend meaning money in 2 3 months, 6 months, or money which you should not spend but it's already there. Something like an emergency fund, or something which is due in 2 months time, 3 months time, so that money can well lie there. And then quickly arriving at the stage, at a part of your money which you are unlikely to need for a couple of years, and that is the money which should be invested well, thoughtfully, and in a manner that it will generate more return. And within that, I would say that that money, the first stage of that is uh, identifying the amount of money which you need to invest. If your basic income has crossed a basic threshold, then you need to save taxes, you need to invest to save taxes. And the way to do it is immediately plan your tax saving investment. And I will take you through the very basic premise that what should be the guiding principles there. And if you are not a taxpayer but you are still able to save some money, how to go about investing it. And this is the money which should work very hard. It should work very hard because your money which lies there, if you just earn money and could keep it in your locker, the money will remain constant. It is your money, it will actually be helpful in case of emergency. But a year from now, if you have a lakh of rupees lying in your locker, it will not be able to buy something worth a lakh of rupees today, a year from now. So it goes down in value even while it is lying there, and it remains just as much. Likewise, in your savings bank account, if it is going to earn 4% and in some banks it's going to earn 6%, it is not going to beat inflation. Also for us, the kind of inflation numbers that we see, It is a good consolation that inflation numbers are coming down, generally speaking. But that is not our inflation number. Our inflation numbers are very different. Our inflation number is, the general inflation does not factor in that you will be buying a smartphone every 2 years. There could be a lifestyle inflation. Then there are some real inflation, the cost at which we got our nursery education or school education or college education, they are going to be very different for your children. So, so you have to really factor in that you will be needing a very different scale of money for the same thing that we availed or you availed. And that inflation you have to factor, and the cost of those services being very different, you have to provide for it. So you need to really work very hard. It has to be taken up very urgently, which means the core message, the basic thing to understand is that just earning well and saving enough is not enough. You have to make your money work harder. And for that you need to quickly decide the money which you are unlikely to need for some time. You are unlikely to need for a few years, and that money should be invested very carefully. And if you are going to be if you are liable to be paying taxes, then you need to make your tax saving investment immediately. Plan for it, and then look at the options. The tax saving options which we are historically aware of is public provident fund or the provident fund of by our employer. Of course, that is not a negotiable thing. That will be deducted from your salary and invested. But beyond that, any money that you are required to invest which will save you taxes, you must, because tax save is money earned. And so quickly plan this. And if you don't do that, the opportunity loss of not getting started is very steep. And once you have crossed that basic threshold, or you are not liable for paying taxes, then I would say that start conservatively. The same basic starter plan which I keep at the cost of repeating it. Start with a balanced fund and get going, and do it for 2-3 years before you venture into that. You will have a lot of objections, you will have a lot of concerns. I would say that forget about the concerns. Get on with a SIP, get going. These concerns will always be there. They are always there, that the market is too high, is it a good time, you are too young to start. There will be a lot of things which will be crossing your mind. I would say that just decide the amount of money of your monthly savings, of your monthly income, which you can spare for the long term, which you are unlikely to need for the long term, and get going. You will have very pleasant surprises just 2-3 years from now.